Okay, what is up, Empire community, my friends? I wanted to take a couple of minutes and chat and update you guys. It's been a while since I shot a video like this and updated you really on what's been going on. I think I make the age-old mistake that, and I assume that everyone just kind of knows what's going on. Everyone kind of is in sync with the community. Everyone is in tune with me and the shifts and the pivots and everything, all the madness that's going on a regular basis. And the reality is that you're not. I'm going to start shooting a regular video like this that allows me to, I'd actually like to do this live, but honestly, all this kind of popped into my mind, and today I'm on a really tight timeline. So I was like, okay, what do I do? Do I do a live stream or do I just pop up this video pre-recorded? So here we are. This is the first of, I think, many to where we just kind of talk. And maybe if you've got, in the future, if we do these live and you've got, concerns or questions, or you just want to kind of get a better grasp of what's going on, that's what these will be for. And I know that there's always new people coming into the community, especially with that effort in 2019 will definitely be more paid advertising. So there'll be all kinds of new people who have really no clue about the history, the past, and what we've gone through together. Still got a little sickness that I'm fighting. There's a lot of people who won't really know what's going on with that, right? Part of that will be expressed through the Empire Research site. There's going to be like the whole storyline and talking about how this whole community kind of grew and came together, right? We've been through a lot. We've come a long way. I think we're in phenomenal shape in comparison to a lot of other crypto communities that failed to pivot, that failed to change, and they're just trying to go and beat the same old drum. They're just going and trying to beat the all in on crypto. It's going to change the world. It was created by this, anonymous guy, Satoshi, and it's going to free us all and it's going to save us. That to me is another version. It's another form of victimhood. It's no different than the government's going to save me. It's no different than Make America Great Again, where we go one, we go all. Trump, America, he's going to save us all. It's the same shit. Save yourself. And that is really some of the foundational stuff of what we're doing here with Empire Community. We'll get better at this as time goes on. We'll create our foundation, but our foundation is going to be this whole concept of of what I call a bulletproof portfolio. And there'll be more pieces added to this. Like I know if you've gone through this already, what you'll notice, one of the big things I left out, glaringly obviously left out, is small businesses, running your own business. Having side hustle income. That was actually all left out of this portfolio strategy for a couple of different reasons, but I'll tell you that the number one reason is that I believe deeply in 3, 6, and 9 and the power of mathematics, and that would have put me at 7 things. And so to some people that might sound insanely silly, but yeah, it really was that I wanted to hit on 6. The next update will probably be me trying to bump it up to 9, and if it's 7, then it's 7. But that's where a lot of that came from, okay? So anyways, this will be the foundation for how we move forward. And the basis of it is, I've been fascinated. Let's take a step back, actually. Let's go through the whole life cycle of where we've been. We started off in July 31st, 2017. I think that was my very first video. And it was a crypto video. And the whole idea of this channel was to document my crypto journey. And I will be completely honest with you. I think I was quite stupid back then. From an information standpoint, I really didn't have a lot of the information and tools that I needed to make good decisions. I kind of thought it was like a new phase for me, right? Like a revamping. I don't know why. It felt really good to document my journey. And crypto, I was brand new to it, brand new to investing in that sort of way. I'd done a infinite banking life insurance policy before. I did some estate planning. I had no clue how the stock market worked. I always avoided it. I thought it was a scam, and I always avoided it and just never really tried to get good at it. I didn't really understand economics. I mean, I was like the poster boy of retail money, right? So we got into all the wrong things, naturally. We got into all the lending platforms, and yeah, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, these things can't last forever, but you're also thinking, I'm smart. And I'm going to figure out how to do this, and I'm going to figure out how to make it out and get out at the perfect timing, right? Much like how you see in every market, everyone's sitting around trying to catch the bottom. They're doing it in gold, they're doing it in silver, they're doing it in real estate, they're doing it in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, stock market. Everyone's trying to wait for the perfect bottom and catch that knife. And almost nobody ever does, okay? I had all those fallacies going on, all those cognitive fallacies going on, and biases going on, and ended up losing quite a bit. Went in with $10,000. We worked somewhere up to maybe 320, 330, I think was the estimated value at the time. Futures contracts kicked in December 17th and 21st. By like February, when I started to realize what was going on, that was after all the lending platforms crashed, I realized, wow, I'm up a lot, like a couple 100,000. Yeah, I had some left, because there was all kinds of different positions that I had accumulated. It wasn't just all lending, and I feel really, really sorry, and I have a lot of empathy for the people who did, like, literally go all in on those platforms. I had other stuff, there was cloud mining, and all those platforms went down, but all of them didn't go down all at the same time, and profits were still pulled. I had some sweet positions in Ripple, BNB, and probably a handful, maybe a dozen or so other coins that allowed me to sustain through 2018. I actually lived off my portfolio up until about October, and I knew I was going to run out. And so the next big jump was, okay, I need to know, I knew that I needed to figure out two things. One, what the hell happened that I obviously missed this whole thing? And that took me down, maybe I need to learn TA. And I hadn't really taken TA that serious. A little bit. You can go back and check the channel too. You'll see that, I started to get into some of it, like basic indicators. I started to tried to understand like the market cycles and things like that, but I still wasn't getting it. And after that happened, there's like trauma there. And I think for some people, there's definitely like, I wouldn't say go as far as saying it's like post-traumatic stress syndrome, like veteran gets from being at war, but it's almost, it almost is, and that's not taking anything away from those guys. But yeah, so I was trying to figure out what just happened, what went wrong, and then how can I better prepare in the future for this? How can I be better? How can I like not fall for this, right, and not make these mistakes? Because I don't mind being stupid, but if you're going to be stupid over and over and over again, make the same mistakes, fall for the same fallacies, that is your fault. And I really strongly dislike doing that. It's just how I've always been. So yeah, I don't mind making mistakes. I don't mind screwing up, losing millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands. I mean, that is not the first time I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in plays that just didn't work out, right? Actually, I had one right before that, which was like a $150,000 loss trying to launch a business on my own. And I think that's, to take a side note, I think that's where a lot of like the community aspect comes in, and where I really feel for helping people out is because when I was in a tough spot, there was very few people who were willing to help me out. And a lot of people that I thought were my friends were not. And when push comes to shove and I was on the line and I needed money by, 12 hours from now, 24 hours from now, not even a lot of money, those people ran and they ignored me and they ghosted me. So that was a big realization. And that was part of, I think, what drove me to even want to do this whole like transparent documenting my journey thing to begin with. Fast forward back. So two problems that I was facing, right? I needed to figure out what just happened, how to prevent it from happening in the future. So I needed to understand economics, did I not? So I dove into economics, kind of the macro outlook, the different models, Austrian, Keynesian, and kind of how the US is operating right now and what's going on with it, and deep dove into that, kind of left indicators and technical stuff off to the side, but then got really fascinated with market cycles, because I realized that at the end of the day, it's human beings that are in every market. It's human beings that are very predictable. They're the most predictable aspect. Forget your TA, forget your Elliott wave and all your indicators that you think are proving one side of the story or not. They're actually just proving and supporting your bias. Human beings are what's driving every single market. If there's humans in that market, you can guess and you can make assumptions on what and how they're going to behave. So much so that there's something that was created based on this called the Wall Street cheat sheet. Wyckoff method is also really, really good. Just the basic description of accumulation, distribution, a markup period, and a markdown period. But all of that, once you combine that with your natural intelligence and your natural understanding of human beings, because you are human, and psychology, which I think we all understand, but maybe you would need to study that more deeply, you start to actually get keys. You get insight. You start to see the deep structure of a market, and that's pretty phenomenal, actually. And so naturally I kind of started diving into the macroeconomy stuff, and then that got boring, because I'm just like, well, this is valuable, yeah, because I'm finding stats, I'm finding data, I'm finding information that people don't have access to. So, at a basic level, there's value there, right? Like, people are going to subscribe to the channel because they're going to realize, like, wow, this guy has information. I might not like it, but he's got information that I'm either too lazy to get or don't know where to to find it. And I gladly posted all the links. Like if you go back and look, I don't do it anymore, but I would gladly post all the resources, all the links to every single video. We're talking since November. I made that pivot in November. But the second thing that I did was I started to think bigger with my portfolio idea, because I started to think, gosh, like, I'm falling for this shit, man. Like, I'm falling for this, like, Bitcoin's going to change the world. It's created by this anonymous guy who's just like a good-hearted guy who's trying to save the world. And I'm just like, dude, who are you kidding with this? That might not be true at all. Like, there's evidence that the CIA created this. There's evidence that it rolled out at the perfect time for when the IMF and the BIS were looking to jump digital, to do all kinds of different things with the monetary policy. So you can't just sit back and think that everything is fair. So I was still falling for these fallacies that everything is fair, the markets are fair, and that everyone's being honest and transparent, because they're not. Those two things are almost never happening, especially at the same time in a given market, okay? And so, yeah, I needed to kind of, wake up. And so at that point, I started to transition my efforts, and I had started it earlier, like June. Started to try and get business funding, because I was like, okay, well, I want to scale this whole thing up. I want to get back into a decent, 30 to 50K budget per month in advertising, and we can grow this community really quick. And, I had nothing but problems with that last year. So enter in one of the very last friends that I had who's going to help me get all this set up. And I mean, we had been pushing 6-8 months at this time when I started to realize what was going on. And it turns out that he was going through all kinds of problems, drug addiction problems, in and out of jail. And I obviously, like, not only when you have a friend that you've been through some shit with, that you're willing to like ignore a lot of the obvious indicators, but you're also willing to be more patient. And it wasn't really until November that I started to really lose my patience with that. And he ended up going back in jail at that time, and the whole thing pretty much fell apart. I touched base with him again a couple months back, I think, and basically everything that I had paid for and we were pushing for had apparently gone through, but he just decided to keep it and not include me in what he was doing, which is fine. I was pretty bitter about it at the time, definitely. And I said some shit that I probably shouldn't have. But yeah, I was just, I think, hurt emotionally, because I thought that he was like one of the only friends that I had, right? So anyways, short story long, kept searching on that, and we've been able to reestablish new connections this year through people that I've been watching and following for months and months and months, and watching their behavior and watching what they're doing, because I didn't want to make that mistake again. Again, going back to the core philosophy of not making mistakes more than once. And then the macroeconomy stuff, like, it just got kind of boring to me, because I thought, okay, I don't want to be just a guy that's posting up links and going through this data, because there's no unique proposition there. There's no offer there. I'm just giving you data. And so 15 channels drop today that all start doing the same thing. I no longer have a position. That's the same thing that happened with us with Bitcoin and crypto when we started documenting. All of a sudden, everyone started documenting that we're in the different lending platforms. And then when we started to pivot to, TA and technical analysis, everyone's doing technical analysis, because that's where they naturally thought to pivot after a lot of, those things fell apart. And obviously the bear market came in. Tons of channels disappeared, yeah, but a lot of them pivoted into two things. They learned technical analysis, or at least pretended to, and then news. So like 30 channels pivot to news, which look at today, look at the crypto space. It's a complete shitfest of people rolling around in the pig pen. I don't even know how they survive. Like, I really don't, because most of them don't know how to trade. They don't understand technical analysis. They don't have channel sponsorships. They're not getting paid for reviews because they don't want to, or there's just the whole bed of ICO and IEO reviews is dried up. I have no clue how they're surviving, actually, most of the channels. And from information that I have through different access points, I know that a lot of them are actually struggling to survive, and it's because they failed to pivot. So that's something that I think I sucked at it through 2017, beginning of 2018, because I was still being too emotional about my losses. But then as soon as I woke up and snapped out of it, pivoted very quickly. And that's what you see today. Like, that's why all these things have kind of happened the way that they have, is because I'm pivoting, right? The whole model. So now the model that we're in is, I feel like I've gotten enough information, I've studied enough, and these realizations have just kind of hit me on what makes the most sense to move forward. I'm looking at multiple different perspectives, multiple different time frames, but one of the big time frames that I'm constantly using to shake me out of my own perspective is, where are we going next? In the next 10, 15 years, I think we'll be in space. By 2030, there's a lot of goals that people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk have. That is, 11 years from now? There's a lot of shit that's going to happen in this next 11 years. And, a lot of the traditional markets that we're all in might not be the same. They might not look the same. I don't think they'll go away, but they'll be different. And there'll be all kinds of new markets that open up, right? Like mining resources on asteroids, mining resources on the moon. We've already established that we need to be mining from the moon, right? Which is part of the Blue Odyssey Blue Moon project from Jeff Bezos. He just presented this actually just last week. What I'm seeing now is that because of behavior, you can assume things about the market. So we have like two big groups right now, which is millennials and baby boomers. And baby boomers are crying, slow down, things are going too fast. And millennials are saying this shit's too slow. Internet's too slow. Technology's too slow. So what we got is a fragmentation in time and space, because time itself, you can't deny it's speeding up. But you have a huge part of the market that is denying it and avoiding it, and a huge part of the market that's saying more. And the reason why it's so significant now and at such a big breaking point now is because there'll be more 65 and older than there will be 5 and under for one of the very first times, I think, in history. And that's happening like now over the next 5 to 10 years. It's a very interesting point in time. My generation, because I'm at the older end of the millennials, I'm 33, we've gotten to see falling out of the old model and the welcoming of the new model. And the old model was go to school, get a good education, go to college, get one profession, go and get one education, one profession, go into that profession for your whole life, retire from that job, get one wife, have 2 kids, get a nice house, have 2 cars. It's like this whole model and what it really represents, like all the, I guess you could say, micro to that macrocosm. And that model just isn't going to work moving forward. I don't even think the value investing model of Warren Buffett is going to work moving forward. I think he's had a lot of luck. I think his luck was going to run out in 2008 before he got bailed out, as well as all the banks did. Let's not forget he was invited into those meetings, right? He was actually called in to give them a plan. And it just so happened that plan included bailing out a lot of position that Berkshire Hathaway still carries to this day, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, etc. Okay, I think a lot of these models are broken. I don't think it makes sense to put all your money in one thing. Look around today in the markets. What do you see? Gold bugs going all in on gold. Crypto people going all in on crypto. No, it's going to change the world. It's decentralized. It's going to destroy the monetary policy, and that's what we need. Bring the freedom back. And most of those people are talking heads. They're puppets. They're people that own hedge funds that are rooted in fiat. They're not your friend. They're not a fucking hero. They're not a freedom fighter. Okay? All of that is not going to lead you to success, is it? It's not going to ensure that your portfolio lasts the next 20, 50, 100 years, is it? China does this really, really well. They work off of like a 500-year cycle. It's either 200 or 500-year cycle. I haven't finished researching it. When I do, I'll be able to more definitively state my opinion on that. But America doesn't run like that at all. They don't even run off a 100-year cycle. I mean, it's like 10, 20 years. So there's a huge difference between those two approaches, okay? If you want to build lasting wealth, a legacy, a dynasty, you're going to have to think like that. You're going to have to think with a 10, 20, 100-year perspective, and a right now, and a this year, and the next 5 years. All those perspectives need to fit nicely into a timeline in your brain, a horizontal timeline that gives you a path, gives you a clear path, and that's what I'm focused on now. So that's where you'll see most of my attention, especially this. I'm shooting this end of Q1. So most of my attention for Q2 is in establishing a podcast, which is going to be based on all of these wealth professionals that I'm finding, all of these tools that I'm lining up for myself, for our portfolio, to extend it beyond an all-in on crypto position, an all-in on gold and silver position. It needs to include other things, okay? I just see that as common sense. I see that as a way to win no matter what goes on, right? Whether there's an economic collapse that affects the monetary policy and real estate and this and this and that, like, you still got 1 or 2 things that are going to make it through. You still got 1 or 2 things that will preserve purchasing power during times of possible challenge, okay? That's what we're going to focus on. We have the Empire Intelligence Alerts, which is simply, I don't want to say it's like a newsletter, because we give away, to go through the levels, we give away a newsletter, which I think is amazing. From a data standpoint, from a value standpoint, I think it's really, really good. I write it, of course, so you might see that as bias. Judge for yourself. It's completely free. It's just empirealerts.substack.com. You can check it out for yourself. And If you think it sucks, let me know. Okay, I'm completely okay with feedback on that standpoint. But that I post for free in the Discord, in the announcements channel all the time. You can subscribe for free, just give your email address, or you can view it for free as well, but you won't get notifications if you just pop in and read it. So I suggest to jump in and get email notifications there. So that's like your foundation, that's your baseline. As well as in the Discord, the crypto news and the world news channels and all the other channels that we give should keep you pretty much up to speed on what's going on day to day. You don't need to check in on Twitter. You don't really need to check in on news aggregates or Google Reader or whatever you're using to try and keep up to speed on those things, because those things are all getting dropped throughout the day, all day long in those two channels. So between those two vehicles right there, you are already, I feel, so far ahead of the rest of the market, so far ahead of everybody else, okay? So if you want to build upon that, then you have the Empire Intelligence Alerts. You get access to more channels, you get access to more reports, and you get access to more of me, okay? So there's Q&As that happen quarterly. There is, I already talked about the access, but also too, there's flash updates. Obviously, I've got positions in crypto, I've got positions in stock market, options, even real estate. And so as I see different trends happening, I will be alerting in different ways to those people. Okay, so that's just a way to take this to the next level and get even more access. Okay, the Empire Signals is closed down, but that is basically a bot that will do auto execute trading for you. Based off of signals in your crypto accounts. So that is all based off of crypto. And then Empire Inner Circle is essentially more access to more channels, different algorithms that we're working on, and different intelligence that we gather. So we have alerts on stocks and options for swing trades. So that's trades that take maybe a couple days, a couple weeks to happen, okay? And gold and silver. And then there's a couple pieces that we might add in here I won't talk about, but you get access to Empire Intelligence Alerts, you get access to the swing trade alerts for stocks and options, and you get access to gold and silver alerts. So this is some of the best information you could get on the market. This would be thousands of dollars, if not tens of thousands of dollars, to get these things yourself, whether through someone like me or somebody else. So I assure you that this is the highest level information that you can get. So it's like, imagine you had access to, people that are just obsessed with gold and silver and all the information that they're pumping out all day long, and professional swing traders that make a full-time income from stocks and options. Okay, that's what that is. And then we're going to this year will be the very first year that we start to do a yearly retreat. I want to bring people together. Again, this whole community idea, bring people together, and once a year go through. I'm going to invite out different guests. I want to turn this into a bigger thing, but still a real tight atmosphere. It'll be in Bali. There's absolutely amazing resorts there that can fit a lot of people, but we're going to keep them tight, intimate, 50 or less, and we're going to have some fun. But we're also going to be going through the year and how you guys ended up performing with your portfolio, and then how to plan for the next year. So I'll be bringing in professionals that'll help with infinite banking concepts, 529 concepts, IRA concepts, both domestically, internationally, different options and opportunities there. People will be coming out and speaking on. And then also, too, you'll get access to what I'm calling private black reports. These are reports that basically, as I'm going out and figuring out different things, especially internationally, I'm documenting those, getting people, phone numbers, branch locations on where to go to get things done. From bank accounts to passports to real estate deals, you can expect that you'll get people that you can access on the ground to help you with these things, people that I've vetted, people that I have working on my team even, especially with Bali, that I've left behind. I have people there, I have assets there, so that one's going to be one of the easiest ones to set up. But also, too, I've already gone through to set up all the bank accounts there, what you need, how long it takes, all that. So you will literally be able to get where to go, people to contact, people to call, set up an appointment, and set all this up so that you can do a quick drop-in trip and get it set up and pop back out. That is what the Black Reports will really be focused on. And as I continue to travel around and establish new relationships, set up new deals, that's what you can expect, all right? So that is the direction that we're going. We are moving away from this all-in position thought process that I felt that I had in 2017, even in 2018, and we are extending beyond that. We are accepting what is possibly coming down the line for the future, and we are accepting what is currently working. We're accepting where we currently are at, and we are just working our plan. We're making a bigger plan, and we're working that. And obviously I want you to be a part of it because I go way out of my way to provide you guys with not only information, but access to my brain and where I'm thinking. I don't have it all figured out. I don't think all of this is a slam dunk and super easy, but I think that this, in comparison to the average person, holy shit, you are light years ahead. Because think of how stuck the average person is. They are on Twitter right now arguing about if Trump is a good guy or not. They are on social media right now arguing if women should have the right to get an abortion. They are on social media right now arguing. You are not. You're watching this video. You have decided to step outside of that shit throwing match that they've created to distract you. That is a distraction, because when you're doing that, you're not doing what? Working, building, facilitating, networking, growing. Okay? You are stuck. You're stuck. Most people are stuck. They're overwhelmed. They're stuck. They're emotional. And they don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit that they're wrong. They don't want to admit that they've fallen for it. They don't want to admit any of that. Okay? So you're already light years ahead by just being in this community. And I keep my pulse on a lot of other people that were coming up when we were, and I'll tell you what, none of them offer even close to what we're offering. And that might come off as, arrogant a little bit, but go check them out. Go check out other channels that were around when we were. Go check out other crypto communities. No. And if you combine that with the average age in the crypto space, it's very young. It's teenagers, which those people I do not get along with at all. The community that we've built with Empire is 23 to 44, but it's mostly 23 to 34, and then this thinner demographic from 34 to 44. But that's it. There's outside of that, there's, I think, probably a sliver of boomers that are in there in a higher demographics, but they're all busy falling for Motley Fool, falling for Agora marketing techniques through washed up idols that they're not really paying attention to what's going on. And those guys, by the way, they are amazing at marketing, but they will bleed you dry of money. And you should know that. And if you spent any amount of time looking at Tika Tawara or Jim Rickards or any of these guys, you would know that, they're asking for a lot to play. They're asking for $10, $20, $30,000, and you're not even getting what you need. That's the whole point of those systems. The whole point of those systems is to bleed you dry of money, and you never make any money. That's why their demographics are 50 to 70 male, because that works. They know their demos. Okay, so our demos are completely different. We don't need to do stuff like that, and I wouldn't feel good about doing stuff like that because it's not going to lead you to the ultimate goal. So that's where we're at, and that's where we're going. So this next quarter, I'm scaling up my efforts once again, which I'm at the overwhelm stage right now. You can expect that to, as I simplify down and create more systems that will relax and slow down a little bit, and then there'll be probably a better version of me in the community, and I'll have more time. But for right now, I'm at the next beginning of growth cycle for what I want to accomplish. And as I accomplish those things and as I meet these people, obviously you have the direct benefit of the podcast, but you're going to have the direct benefit of all these little things that I'm dropping into the Discord, exclusive deals, discounts, access that I've gotten lined up and linked up through, my broker deals. You will get to benefit from that just by being a part of the community and not giving any money. But if you want to give money, obviously you're going to get more. And that helps support us, but it also helps support you. It helps put skin in the game, I contributed to this community for over a year and really didn't ask for shit. And it all worked out. It worked out because my portfolio was performing fine. It worked out because there was a ton of people active in crypto, through affiliate links and stuff like that. We were, in affiliate offers, I guess, we were doing just fine. So as through 2018, that proved look at where everyone left. And that forced us to pivot, which I think now we're in an amazing spot. And I think it, from a value standpoint, it's some of the best stuff for you guys. And so I'm incredibly proud of what we've created, and we'll keep pushing this. If you've been here now for a little while, you've looked, you've paid attention, this is what we constantly are doing. I'm constantly trying to evolve myself, push myself to be the best version, but also to ensure that my family's protected, ensure that my portfolio is going to last, and that I'm not falling for my own delusions and my own bullshit. If I do, then we fix it as quick as possible, right? Welcome if you're brand new to the community. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you've gotten a ton of value out of this. And if you're, you've been here for a while and you just had no clue what was going on, I hope this has brought you up to speed on what's going on. That's your access points. That's what you have the opportunity to get involved in. And that's it for now. So be on the lookout. I'll drop another video probably around Q2 once more stuff has happened, and we'll have made another pivot by then, I guarantee it. And there'll be more clarity, and there'll be probably a bigger program drop this year. I think in the next year we'll be dropping a full-blown A to Z portfolio video series, video training, after I've gone and done it all myself. So I'm going through and setting up a lot of these pieces myself. Everything that's talked about in a bulletproof portfolio, I'm in the process of setting up for myself. So all of that I'm going to bring together into one big monster program, or I'm going to launch it as I learn it and as I set up the relationships and the resources, and just launch all these micro pieces leading up to a big fat macro. We'll see which way it goes. But anyways, that's it, my friends. Thank you so much for watching this video, and jump into the Discord now and go ahead and continue the conversation. Tag me in general chat if you've got any questions for what I just covered in this video, and that's it. See ya.